Hello, hello. It's just about 8 o'clock, so I'm on time. Let's see if anybody shows up today. You never know. You never know. Today we're going to talk about consistency in the subconscious mind. I did a little research just because, sometimes you know something and you can talk about what you know, but it might not be easy for other people to understand or get. So I did a little research just to break it down a little bit and be able to explain what it is I do with the subconscious mind and how it can help with consistency. I'm Shoshana Rychek, and I'm so glad if you're not here. Oh, hi, Ken's here. Thank you, Ken. And I'm so glad for anybody who shows up as well as anybody who watches the replay. I know that happens quite a bit. So we'll just wait about another few minutes, or not even really. I mean, a few seconds. In my world, a few seconds is a few minutes. So we're going to talk today about the subconscious mind and consistency and why it's so hard sometimes to change habits. And it doesn't even have to just be about food or weight loss. It can be about sleeping habits. It can be about work habits. It can be about working out habits. So we're going to talk about why it can be so difficult and why it's so important to have the subconscious mind work for us on autopilot. So it's 8:01 and I'm just going to get started because, we're all here. Whoever's here is here. And so first of all, let's just differentiate. The conscious mind is what we're aware of in this moment. The conscious mind is what we can immediately think about and react to right now. It's what we see and it's what we experience now. The subconscious mind, which is also known as the unconscious mind, it's a memory bank of patterns. So what's really interesting about this is like I said, the conscious mind is where we are now. The subconscious mind is a memory bank of patterns. So if you're out doing something, you're crossing a street, you see a car coming, your subconscious mind is the one that makes you pull back. Your conscious mind might deduct that, yeah, there's some danger involved, but your subconscious mind works so much faster. And this is why it's so important to be able to get to the subconscious mind when you want to make changes in your life. The subconscious mind is so powerful that it controls our body temperature through homeostatic impulse. And not only does it maintain our body temperature, but it also controls all of our functions, all of our cells, and all of our chemistry. And it does it through the autonomic, I said that right, I am looking at notes, nervous system, which manages hundreds of chemicals in billions of cells. So the subconscious is just so powerful. We need to learn how to use it better to get where we want to go. And, the homeostasis of the subconscious, it keeps us behaving in certain patterns because it memorizes, and our brains like to be on autopilot. Just think about when you drive somewhere that you've been 100 times or maybe 12, and you're not even thinking about going there, and all of a sudden you're there. Our bodies and our brains, they love to be on autopilot, and they will work for us, and they do it by memory. So it's really important, if you want to reprogram, that you find a way to do that that's long lasting and not temporary. And that's where I come in, because I have learned how to help people reprogram, reset, empower their mind through the subconscious. And, it's like when you go to the gym and you haven't been to the gym in a while, it's hard to get in the habit, right? Maybe it's hard to get there the first time, and then it's hard to get that habit. But if you keep doing it for months, at least a month, right? They say 30 days, 21 days, there are lots of rules of thumb. But most of them are very difficult to achieve. But you get to a point where you're just used to going to the gym on specific days, and you don't feel right if you don't go. So that's where we want to be with the habits that we want to have. We want to be uncomfortable when we don't follow the pattern that we've created. So, same like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth at certain times every day. It's a habit. You very rarely forget. Or when you drink your coffee, it's a habit. You do that in the morning. Ken's on the line right now, and we had a little funny thing the other day. We were going to a friend's house for dinner in our neighborhood. We knew we were staying in our neighborhood, but because we got in the car to go, we didn't know if it was going to rain later. He, instead of going right where we needed to go, he was already going to go left because he was on autopilot. He was thinking about going left because normally he gets in the car and he goes left. He doesn't normally go right. Just case in point, another example. And developing new habits can just be so painful and slow sometimes. So, hi, Joan. Thanks for coming on. You're coming at a good time. Nice to have you here. So, a while back, about maybe 13 or 14 years ago, I attended an event, and this woman, her name was Deborah Battersby, and she was talking to a whole group of people, and she had us do this sort of hypnosis thing where she got into our subconscious, and we learned how to go inside and retrain ourselves. From that moment, I went home and found other areas. Hey, Deb! Deb's back from Aruba. Too bad it's not a Zoom. We could put you on to share. Gosh, we saw beautiful sunsets and everything. It was amazing, and an amazing family vacation and gorgeous pictures. I'm just so happy for you. So anyway, that's what happens when your friends show up on your live. You want to give them a little love. So thank you guys for showing up. But we're talking about, to get to consistency, you've got to get to the subconscious mind because this, oh, and Suzanne's here too. Look at my friends. I love my friends. I practice my gratitude every day, and I said, thank God for my friends. These are real good friends. So I'll try to not interrupt myself again, because that's going to really annoy the people who push the replay. But at least they know I'm a good friend to my friends, right? Okay, let's go back. Getting to the subconscious mind is what's going to help change your habits and create consistency. So when I learned how to do this from Deborah Battersby, I was fascinated by it, and I started reprogramming my mind. I started reprogramming emotions that were feeling hurtful to me and bringing in empowering ones. And I started doing all this work, and it really worked. And so I eventually learned how to do it on my compulsive overeating. And I learned how to put that at bay and adapt other habits. And I went through my subconscious and I taught myself. I saw an image of myself of how I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up and how I didn't want to behave, how I did want to behave, right? You have to know the two sides. And I taught myself what I really wanted, and it was so ingrained that from that moment on, that's when I lost my 14 pounds that I've never put back on. Now, I have put on a couple. I think it's muscle weight, most of it, because I've been working out a lot. There we go. Little fun. But so that's what I want to do for people, is I want to help people get on autopilot and get their consistency. Because when I talk to people and they say, gee, I've done this different diets, I've done this and done that, but I'm just not consistent. That's because your subconscious mind is on autopilot from patterns that it remembers. Oh, thanks, Joe. Anyway, that's, you get on autopilot. And so we need to put the things that we want in our lives on autopilot. So because you're all my friends here, I've always offered this to you. I am trained as sort of a neuroscientist in a way, but I do know how to get into the subconscious. I'm trained as a clearing technician. And what we do is we remove old habits, old beliefs, old emotions, old patterns, ones that do not make us feel good anymore, and we replace them with empowering ones that help us see life differently and help us to, behave differently and do things differently. So that's what I'm offering. And I do a lot of it with the whole food thing and the weight loss thing because that was always my struggle. That was my struggle from a child. Debbie remembers I was chubby, and Debbie never was, but I was. So that was my struggle, and that's why I want to help people not have that struggle anymore. It didn't feel good to me. So I do it through the subconscious mind, and then of course nutritional information. And then I'm like your buddy, I'm your coach, and I like to get texts every day, how you doing? And then we set an appointment every week, and we just make sure that you're staying the course. That's what we do. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. You know these are never long. When I'm in the kitchen, they're longer because I have something to do and we're creating food and such. But this is just so important, and I know a couple of you didn't get on at the beginning. So watch it from the beginning. I don't make a big deal out of things in terms of big, long explanations. It doesn't need it. But to end up, I'm just going to say that, in our conscious mind, that's where we are now. Our subconscious are remembered patterns. So what we want to do is have the remembered patterns be the way we want to be now. That's the trick. That's the key. And that's what I help you do. So thank you, Joan and Debbie and Kenny and Susie. And did I get everybody? Yeah, I got everybody. And thank you so much for coming today. And for those of you who are watching the replay, I really appreciate it. Coming out with a new logo, I'm hoping in the next day or two. And it is called Flip the Weight Loss Switch. Because that is what happens when you work with your subconscious. You literally flip the switch. But to all my dear friends online right now, if there's something else that you want to flip the switch on, maybe it's not weight loss, maybe it's something else in your life, let me know, because I can help you with that too. So thank you. We will be here next Monday at 8 o'clock. And if there's something that you really want me to go through or go over or demonstrate in the kitchen, just let me know, because I'll do it. Have a great night.